There are three things of note in this video that punch exclusivity in the nose one more time. The fact that these game sales are not enough, that Sony has to go ahead and do remasters. The second piece is that their games and even the game sales after remasters are done still need to find their way to PC. And then when it's all said and done, they've already made the remaster, they've made their way to PC. The live service games then come in and ask for their own pound of flesh. In today's day and age, there's just nowhere for these games to run to. They all have to face the reality. Tim Sweeney also came out just a few months ago to say these games are getting millions of dollars spent in developing them and no one is playing them. I mean, some of you may or may not necessarily remember at this moment in time, but there was a game that just recently came out that pretty much nobody or barely anybody played. In fact, there were two of them from Ubisoft that were licensed games: Avatar Frontiers of Pandora and Star Wars Outlaws. Those games probably have their flaws. Their audiences and their target market could probably tell you what they think is wrong. But you also got to realize that for the most part, gamers are already occupied trying to get through their backlogs. They're already occupied playing games that they enjoy, already occupied playing these community games. So I don't see where anybody who might be an exclusivist has a point to make. In fact, I've noticed since a lot of these interviews, like the one that Shuhei Yoshida did just recently, where he went ahead and said that, if you want first-party PS5 games, you should support remasters. So basically, he's telling you that you should support remasters. Now, you already probably know about the game that you're going to support its remaster for. So in essence, buying a second copy of a game that you already played is how you're going to possibly get these new games. Or maybe buying a live service game, playing it, and spending more money on microtransactions is a way that you're more than likely going to get these so-called, new single-player games. Because at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, you really must sell software. Where you choose to sell your software, I think at the end of the day, has a level of agnosticism to it. And the reason I say has a level of agnosticism to it is because once you identify your target audience and you find them where they are, you really got to go put your game right there. The biggest one that is a little bit of a contentious, reality for people who are on PlayStation is MLB The Show. The game has been on PlayStation since 1997, and all of a sudden in 2021, it found itself on Xbox. A lot of PlayStation players have basically found, some argument to say that this game was probably, forced by MLB to go over to the PC platform and so on and so forth. But the reality is a lot of these people don't realize that one of the reasons this game even went to Xbox is because it probably was not making enough money on PlayStation and as an exclusive. Because yes, license fees go up. That's normal. PlayStation is not, new to paying license fees. In fact, when Insomniac's leaks happened, we saw that their license fees for their Spider-Man games are insane in the Disney side, or I guess I'll say in the Marvel side. And in the case of MLB, them, pretty much wanting to negotiate maybe higher licensing fees, more than likely triggered the possibility of finding a player base to go ahead and play the game. Well, think about it. The game does have some kind of a, live service, aspect to it. And it just made sense that another console or another two consoles sitting there, Xbox and Nintendo Switch, would be able to bring in more revenue so that these licensing fees can be satisfied. Some people have also said that, the way licensing works, there's no way they could have gone to make another game. I say to that is absolute nonsense. They could have taken the same process that Konami did with Pro Evolution Soccer. Some people have not necessarily, in a sense, explored that entire conversation, but Konami did not have the FIFA license and were making soccer games at the same time as FIFA. Now, yes, FIFA did gain popularity, but FIFA did not necessarily gain popularity only by the fact that they had licenses. They had to eventually tune their game to work as well as soccer players would enjoy it. And you could also notice that Konami was also dropping in its quality as well and was not keeping up at the same time. If you were playing soccer games then, you'd know, because many people couldn't be bothered about, jerseys and stuff that they could go mod, because they knew the teams, they knew the players and all that. So when it comes, down to it, you either, as a PlayStation fan, if you want to see these exclusive games get built, or if you value exclusivity, you're in a position where you either have to buy 2 games to actually show your love and your dedication to exclusivity, or you're okay with letting these games go to other platforms, because if they stay on one platform, they're going to get choked out and suffocated by these third-party machines called PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S. That's all they're there for. They're literally live service machines. And for the most part, those who play the single-player games on these particular consoles are kind of a small minority. In fact, the stats were so shocking when Matt Piscatella went on the Kind of Funny podcast and put some numbers in front of everybody. I was absolutely shocked as to how less people than we think actually play games, or so actually buy games frequently. It's weird, ladies and gentlemen. It's quite amazing to see. One of my audience members graciously went ahead and broke the numbers down in a comment. Shout out to Ireland M5P. And they said basically 30% of gamers do not buy any games throughout the year. Oh, do you know the biggest platform where Fortnite is played? PlayStation. Yo, this is not a slight at anyone. We're just pointing out what the numbers are saying. 18% of gamers buy a game every 6 months. Mainly 2K, Madden, Call of Duty, possibly. Only 12% of gamers buy a game every month, and only 4% of gamers buy more than one game every month. Core audience. So basically, when you think about it, Matt Piscatella's, data sets that he's been putting out there show you that if you're thinking that somehow exclusives are supposed to drive this, big sales in terms of that, it's it's just a fugazi, ladies and gentlemen. Xbox has already seen the light at the end of the PlayStation tunnel, and they already know that, man, we got to get in there and we got to sell software. Now, if PlayStation wants to basically go ahead and bet on, some other market force, then that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But I hope that their bet is going to be, able to pay off at the end of the day, because if it doesn't pay off, they're going to find themselves in a very weird place. You can sell all the hardware you want, but if a very small percentage of people are actually buying your games, what are you going to do about it? I mean, think. Thanks for watching the video. Peace out.